This is your brain. And this
is your brain on Tom.
Hey, what's up? Holy shit. It's been like 10 days. My apologies. I've been delaying. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's World of Warcraft. BFA came out. Occupying a lot of time. But hey, that'll be in a minute here. But it's your brain on Tom, episode 57 something? 50 something. Late 50s. Your brain on Tom, episode my parents' age. Late 50s. I don't know exactly the number. I just know the general area. How's it going? How's it been? It's been 10 days. Wow. Yeah, too much. Too long. I keep thinking, like, oh, I should do this. Oh, I'll bring this up on the show. I'll do this on the show. I'll bring this up on the show. And then 10 days later, here we are, not actually having done it. Although I've done like 10, 12-day gaps before. But that's when I'm a delinquent. But summer's been busy. Summer's been crazy for me. I mean, like I'll start working new jobs, potentially jobs, plural, starting next week. So I've had a little bit of time off between them, but then like looking for those in like July, and then nailing down in August, and all this other stuff, and then like keep having to like worry about things that might happen, but like either someone else had dealt with them like a long time ago and was just like, oh yeah, that wasn't your problem, or like it wasn't as bad as I thought. Like I got pulled over like in the beginning of like, what was it, July or something, and then like I was like, oh shit, I gotta go on the 23rd to court and deal with this. And then I went like, oh, let me make sure I know for sure it's at 7 p.m. on the 23rd. So I go like looking through the house. I'm like, where the hell did it go? Like this the fucking ticket thing they gave me or whatever. I call my dad and he's like, oh yeah, just mail it to the lawyer. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. I'm like, what the fuck? I wish I knew that. So like small stuff like that where it's like, yeah, it's like your first time. Like it probably won't be anything. Just don't worry about it. Like you've been driving for so long and this is the first time you did anything. Like whatever. We'll just have someone else deal with it. It's not even worth your time. It's like, okay, sure. Didn't know this. So stuff like that. It's like small things like oh, I need to do this. Like I still need to make 2 phone calls in quotes, but really those people need to call me. I just want to get it done, so I need to contact them. But like realistically, I've contacted these people several times already, so like it is mostly on them, but I want to know the answers, so it's August has been crazy. So was July. July was nuts too. But things happen and I enjoy things. Yeah, so like I haven't even gone to the movies, which is crazy, like gone out. Because, like, really, I mean, I have, like, occasionally. Saw, like, Mamma Mia 2 and other stuff like this stuff. I don't really have, ways to think, it was a musical. They suck, that kind of thing. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was silly fun, but, like, I don't see a lot of, like, things. Also, like, late summer has been, like, dog shit for releases, which is crazy. So I just, like, stayed home and watched a bunch of shit. And, like, what did I watched, like, 3 things recently. I watched, Dead Poets Society for the first time. And then I watched Nick Noarh's Infinite Playlist again, because that movie's wonderful. And then Kill Bill, finally, all the way through. And boy, do I have varying feelings on those 3. Dead Poets Society, which I recently watched, like, yesterday? 2 days ago? No, Sunday. I watched it Sunday, 2 days ago. Boy, was that boring. It was, like, really, like, well done, and, like, camera work was really fun and all that shit, but it was, like, it's 2 hours long. This movie's so long. It's so slow. And then you got, like, Kill Bill, which is 4 hours, and I fucking could watch it right now. The movie's amazing. I don't know why I've taken the song to watch it. And then Nick Noarh's Infinite Playlist has a place in my heart. Not as great as I remember it, though. When I first watched the movie, I was like, motherfucker, this movie's amazing. But, like, that middle section is not as great as I remember. It's very, it's less funny. It's, like, really funny in the beginning, and then, like, really, like, just becomes just, like, this coming of age drama. The movie's 10 years old, by the way, which is fucking crazy to think that movie's 10 years old. I mean, Kill Bill is also wicked old, and I guess so is Dead Poets Society, but like Nick and Noarh's Infinite Playlist seems like so recent. Like they're still listening to a bunch of the music that I listen to in the thing, and then they have it's Michael Cera and Kat Dennings, which I guess they're both in their 30s now, which is crazy to think, but they're like way older now. Like I think Michael Cera was like 20 in that movie when he did that movie or something. Like they were kids. It's so weird. Like they were younger than I am now. They were like, now that I think about it too, I think they were younger than me when I watched it. That's how that's how old they were. Like how old this movie is. Like it's so weird. Like I think I was like 22, 23 when I first saw it. But yeah, it was a fun time to rewatch that, because people always like, oh, I watched the movie on Netflix. And I like never watch movies on Netflix, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this now. I'm gonna be like one of them. I'm gonna see what this part of the life is like. So I was like, just actually for the once browsing through Netflix. Because usually I just go with an objective, like I want to watch this, and it's like, oh, it's not there. I'm gonna check somewhere else, like RoboCop. I've been trying for like weeks now to find RoboCop without having to pay for it, and I will find it. Don't you worry. Is it Paramount who owns that? I don't even know. Whoever owns it, I'm gonna get it. Don't you worry. It'll happen. Even if you do end up having to get my $2, go fuck yourself. Just understand that I'm giving you $2 in spite. I've been trying forever. So I was like, I'll go with an objective. I'll go like, I want to watch this thing. And I go and I look at these, Netflix, Amazon, HBO, what have you. Whatever services I have access to. And like, oh, I'll just do this, I'll do that, da, da, da. So I like go with an objective. And like, for the first time, it's like, actually, it was a couple weeks ago. A week ago? It was like a week ago when I watched Kill Bill, and I was like, fuck, I haven't actually watched this all the way through. I only watched the first one, like half of it, the first part. Because it's actually one movie, which I didn't realize until like having seen it and like looked it up a little bit. Like they filmed everything as one, and then they were like, oh, it's 4 hours. Break this into two. We'll release it like in the next, over a year span. But that movie's amazing. That movie's so good. Holy shit. And like I've always known that Tarantino's amazing. He's a really good director, and I really like Reservoir Dogs and Hateful Eight, and I love some of these movies he's done. But not, like it's so clear having watched Kill Bill, like that man just makes what he wants, and it's amazing. And I watched like this thing where he was like talking about Django Unchained, which I now have more respect for as a movie, because I didn't enjoy that one as much because it's very long. But Kill Bill is like 4 hours, but it has such a good pace and it moves so well that like you wouldn't even notice. But like yeah, it's just like having like he makes the thing that he wants. Like Kill Bill is just a grindhouse fucking Chinese kung fu movie. Just like this, really cheap. Actually, not even Chinese. I guess just a cheap Chinese or cheap kung fu movie. I don't necessarily know the ones he was watching came out of Japan or China, but I think some of them were like dubbed movies that they just threw in a grindhouse. We'll do this for cheap, boom, throw. And just like he would do things in there that like shouldn't work, like the hard zoom in and like the really tacky sound effects and stuff like that. Certain things that just should not work. So you should see as a movie go over today and be like, that's bullshit. But he does it and it's awesome because it's like to him it's awesome. It's something he really enjoys, and so he's like, I'm gonna make this thing that I think is awesome, and I'm gonna show you how it's awesome. I'm gonna show other people how this is awesome, and I think that's like, that's exactly what I want to do. I would love to do a toku and then have it be cool. I don't want I think people running around in suits and plastic helmets punching guys in rubber monster costumes is cool. How can I make this so that other people say, oh, that's really cool? Like, I'll just like I spend time just reading up on series I haven't even watched yet or probably won't watch for years. And I'm like, that's so cool. I just saw the one. There was an article on one of the toku websites that I follow on Facebook, and they're like, how 9/11 changed Kamen Rider. I'm like, gosh darn, I do want to know why that happened, and it's awesome. Is it Ryuki? I think is what that series is called, the 2001 one, because it's like every year or whatever. It's like they got a note. The guy who was working on it. Revitalized it because it died in like 88, like it stopped. So like the 90s, it really wasn't around, and it came back in like 2000. So, or no, was it 2000? There was two series, maybe it was 99, something like that. It came out, there was like 2 seasons, 2 series before this one. And so he was like, oh, I think I might leave after I revitalized it. And he had worked on something previously, and he's like, I did my 3, I'm going to step away and whatever. And they sent in a memo that was just like, children need to know what justice is. So like, they're like, all right, we'll do another one. And they had 13 writers, and they're all fighting each other. Oops, punch my mic. They're all fighting each other, and it's awesome. It's so cool. Oh my God. But like, I'm like I just read this. I'm like, that's the dopest fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. That's so cool. Because I was watching Amazon Riders, however that's actually called. Kamen Rider Amazon's 2017, 2016, whenever that first came out. And like, boy, is it cool watching 2 like masked riders fight each other. It's super dope. Boy, is it cool. So to have it like, there's like a war, like they're like the rider roar and they fight each other. It's such a sick idea. God, I wish Kamen Rider took off this country. It's so cool. Yeah, so like, but like that show is weird, but I'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, Kill Bill is so cool just because like it is just so much of what he wants. And like he was talking about Django Unchained, where it's just like where he assaults the slave guy and he like whips him back, and he was like, I was watching Roots and like, he doesn't whip the guy, and I fucking really want him to, and everyone in America fucking want him to, so he fucking did in my movie. And like he does that kind of stuff where it's like he loves movies so much, it's crazy. Like there was it's a video essay, but it's so well done that like it's not like a person talking about the topic. It's it's like a supercut of his interviews, Tarantino's interviews, spliced together to basically have the video essay be told from the mouth of the man himself. It's fascinating. Like it was such a great idea. It's obviously way too much work, and I understand why this is not like a common thing in this genre of YouTube videos. But like to have like all of these various just clips to pull together and like oh, we're gonna talk about this point and we're gonna branch off from this point, but the whole time it's actually from Tarantino himself who's saying this. It's not like me quoting him or whatever. Like the way it's cut together, it was like, I don't want to say it's Quentin Tarantino, the poetry between the lines or something to that effect. And it breaks down like why certain aspects of certain things were done. It's just because he fucking loves movies. He's so in love with his genre. It's like this man wouldn't be anything without making movies. And I always wonder that when you see someone like that. Like, what if he was born in like 1802? What would he do? You know, like what would happen? How would he do this? Because that's what wasn't really available. Like, what do you like? You know, so it's always fascinating to see like someone like be born and have the thing that they're supposed to do and it's right there. And it's just so inspiring, so cool. Just like, fuck, he's gonna do it. Like, this guy's he's doing what he's gonna do. And he takes these things that are like, what a normal person would say, like tacky or silly or weird. And he's like, no, it's fucking awesome. I'll show you it's fucking awesome. And he just does it. And he does whatever he has to do to make it awesome. Like, Kill Bill is very much like that. And even all of his movies are like that. Because he just watches everything. He doesn't care. He has like no bias. He's just like, and like I've heard things of him where like, or interviews with other people talking about him, where if you like go to his house, he'll just have stacks of VHSs or DVDs because he's been watching this one actor or this one direct DP or just like one very small specific detail of like a production. He's watching that one person. That's one person's entire like work. And then they'll walk in and he'll walk by the pile and go, oh, you know what? There's a scene in this movie. Hang on. And he'll just pull it out and put it in, fast forward the thing, show you that. And he's like, wasn't that fucking amazing? Like, that's just what he's just like so in love with this medium. And it's it's so cool. It's so fucking cool. It's just like, oh my God, this guy's so into this. And just like, he doesn't even, all he cares about is just like the whole thing. It's just like the whole process. And I've heard too, like he'll do, they do it in this little video essay where they're kind of, they're like, you know, people who've worked with him, they're like, oh, it's so funny that like he'll finish the take and go, that was fantastic, let's do it again. Because he's just like, and Kevin Smith's the same way, where like when he starts a scene, he's like, make movies the best, we wouldn't be doing anything else, so let's keep doing it. And like, so they'll just do another take, or they'll just, oh, we messed up, who cares, we're living the fucking dream, let's go to the, you know, let's do it again. Like, they just, it's not like it's not a job to them, it's fucking playtime. And it's so fascinating that like looking more into him as the person. And it's weird that it took this movie to do this, but I guess because I've been thinking, like, how do you do a toku in America? How do I take something that I think is so cool and I make it so that other people go, oh yeah, that is pretty neat. Like, how does that work? How do you do that? Because it is so distinctly Japanese. Like, how do you do that? And then watching him be like, he just took like martial arts movies. He's like, nope, I got this. Like, oh, this is how you. And so it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of the groundwork to do this. Like this, you have to put like. You can have that weird tacky dialogue, and the weirder moments can still be awesome if you just work it right and you design it correctly, and it's so fascinating. It's kind of similar to the way the Power Rangers comic is working, where like Power Rangers is an inherently very fun, silly idea for like children, but the comic is very like, I would say adult, or very serious at times. Like they take it seriously, which is fun. That's why I think that's what Kill Bill works too. They just take it seriously, you know. It's a silly concept, but they're not going to let that silly concept be silly, if that makes sense. Like, it's a silly concept, but through my eyes, it's cool, but to everyone else, it's going to be kind of a sillier thing. So we're going to make the silly thing cool, but still acknowledge some of the sillier aspects, which is, I think that's the key. I think that's the point of the whole thing. It's like, you got to do this like sillier thing and you got to bring that forward. But Kill Bill might be my favorite movie of all time now. Like it was just so cool. It's so much fun. The only thing that's kind of was shitty, I guess I've just since discovered it's better now, is like Uma Thurman got really hurt while making it, was like really upset with Tarantino over the last few years. But I guess since like Me Too came out and all that stuff, they've had like a like, I don't know if they've met, but they've talked about like what happened. He apologized. Like I think he paid her to, or I don't even know. I'm not gonna add details to this without being certain. But I know they talked and like they're better now. And she's like, I'd love to work with him again. So that's cool. So now it's okay. I don't feel as weird. But it's such a good movie. It's so good. And like, yeah, I like watched like Dead Poets Society a couple days later. I'm like, boy, I like this message. It's filmed really nice, but boy, am I tired. It's just so slow. It's fun seeing baby Ethan Hawke, I guess, but boy, I am tired. This is exhausting. Because like in my mind, I always thought that Robin Williams played a bigger role, but he really doesn't. Ethan Hawke doesn't even play that big a role. It's more of the what's the other guy? I don't even know his name. The guy who plays Neil, or is Neil his last name? It doesn't matter. That guy. He's like the actual main character. And it was just like very slow and very dramatic. I could see why it did so well. Everyone loved it so much, but it was not what I needed. I needed for like I like that. I like faster stuff now. I don't know. I've been like I was watching like it's funny. I watch Power Rangers all the time, and I was watching Kamen Rider Amazons, which I finished season 1. I'll probably find season 2, or if it's going to come to Amazon, I'm gonna wait till it's on Amazon so that I can support it on Amazon, so we get more, if that makes sense, instead of like watching like a pirated version of it or a fan translated version of it. It'd be better to watch the official one to support the official one, if that makes sense. So I might wait to see season 2, so that I can potentially they go, oh hey look, this made sense in this country, let's try it again, and they'll do it again, and I get more. But I had finished all season 1, and like they take, and they're both half hours. Power Rangers and Amazons, same length, but half hour. And boy, do they take their half hour. Like some episodes, I'm like, boy, that must have been like, because it was originally a web show, so it could have gone longer. The first 2 episodes are like 45 minutes, so it can go longer. I'm like, boy, that must have been one of the longer ones. Nope, it was 20 minutes. Like they really utilized time where you felt like there was a lot happening, and a lot of events and emotions happening, and scenes going on, and conversations having to happen. Like, boy, that was a really long episode. Nope, totally the exact same like there's some ordinary Power Rangers episode. Power Rangers, it's so like almost formulaic at this point. At the point of which I'm watching it, which is Lost Galaxy, which I'll get to in a second, but it hits like such a similar beat pattern that you're like, okay, we're at this point in the show. I mean, they have definitely since moving away, honestly, of the, what am I on, 7 seasons now? Because there's 3 of Mighty Morphin, and there's Zeo, Turbo. Is it 7? Whatever it is. 6 or 7, wherever I'm at with Lost Galaxy. The earlier ones, like Mighty Morphin's the worst ones. They're the most, like, they're very fun, but like structurally, they're very much like, I mean, I would leave episodes on and like leave the room, which is abnormal for me. I don't ever do that. When I'm watching something, I don't even want to pause it. That's why I was also weird watching Dead Poets Society. I was like, boy, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go get a drink, and I'd pause it like 20 minutes in. What the fuck? But like, I would like leave episodes of Mighty Morphin on because it was like, okay, they're calling the Megazord right now. I have 30 seconds while this thing combines, and then we get to the fight portion of it. I'll step away. Like they're very like formulaic, and they very much followed like day in school. Bad guy shows up, fight for a minute, morph, fight 4 minute there, Megazord, win, 2 minutes of wrapping it up, and that was an episode. And like that's pretty much an episode in like pacing now. In all of them, more or less, that's like the framework. You if you don't know where to go, fall into that framework. But it's been like Mighty Morphin. There's so little story episodes per like just filler episodes that like there's way too many, to be honest. There's like, it's a ton. I forgot I used to know the number off the top of my head, but like there was a lot. And then Zeo was great because it was like that refined. It was like we figured it out and we've refined this. We know what we're like. This is it. We did it. And then Turbo was like, "What is happening? Why are you like this? Like, what is that? What is going on?" And then you have In Space, which is awesome because In Space was like they were really trying to wrap things up because they thought it was going to be over. Then In Space did so well. Then Lost Galaxy. They were like, "All right, let's do Lost Galaxy, but set it in space because that must have been what did well." the fact that it was about space. Let's set it in space again. And honestly, or weirdly, I always was told, like, because I never Lost Galaxy is the only series I've watched 0 episodes of. I don't know why. The only one though. Like even growing up, I've watched most at least 1 or 2 times, but like Lost Galaxy, nothing, never at all. So I've always been told that the Zordon saga ends with in space, and then Lost Galaxy is kind of like that. The new blood, fresh thing. Each one is its own thing from there on, but it actually does tie into the story a bit. But they still drive the Mega Astro ship, and Alpha's in it, and Bulk and Skull were in the first episode, and like Bulk and what's the name of the professor that they hung out with, whatever, that guy from Lost in Space, he potentially is like in the spaceship that they're in, and like so it still kind of ties into it. But holy fuck, is it so good? It's so much better than like so many of the ones before. The only problem, like my only complaint, is the suits suck. And that's on Sentai's side. That's Toei. That's their problem. Like Saban for some reason was like, no, we can actually fix this. We can do a good thing. So it's amazing. It's so good. I'm like 15, 16 episodes in, and like every single one is like plot relevant. Like I was like playing WoW and like watching it, and I was like, wow, it's boring. I just want to watch this. Like this is way more interesting than what's going on over here. The Magnum Defender is a fucking thug. He's so cool. He's like their 6th Ranger companion, but he's like on a mission of revenge. Like he's got the same objective as the Rangers of like stopping Scorpius or whatever his name. I think it's Scorpius, the big bad guy. Unfortunately, and second complaint actually is Scorpina from Mighty Morphin is not at all tied in to this. Even on like a throwaway line of like, we've attempted to take over Earth before, but Scorpina failed us or something. Like I wish they had some line to be like, because like why was this girl that worked for Rita, this weird scorpion lady, not connected to the giant scorpion monster? Like why did they not think to like bring that back? But I digress. So I have 2 complaints. But otherwise, it's amazing. But like they're trying to beat this guy and do whatever they got to do. And the Magnum Defender is the same. He's the same thing, but he's like, no, I'm going to burn this motherfucker to the ground. Everything's going down so I can beat this fucker. It's awesome. Bad guys die. Like in the other ones, they would often be like considered like defeated. Except for like Darkonda, he had like lives. Like him being defeated was like plot relevant. Anytime he showed up and was defeated, the next episode he was in, he had like this big fucking goofy scroll with like really well drawn versions of him, when he would just take a big marker and like X out each life. Like that was how he kept track. He couldn't remember that he had 7 lives total and where he was at. No, he had to have this big silly scroll and cross them out. It was awesome. I loved it. Yeah, so like they've had villains like defeated or like disappear, and then like at the end of in space they had all of the main bad guys, so the Machine Empire, which they had said that what the hell is the king's name? I don't remember his name right now. The king of the Machine Empire was defeated, but they made sure to point out he'll be back. Like he never really was back in the show, but like I guess because he's a machine you can bring him back or whatever, I don't know. And then Rita and Zed have always been just fleeing from whoever is currently like they were fleeing from the Machine Empire, and then we're like, you know what, fuck Earth, we're not doing this. And then in the movie for Turbo, Divatox calls them and is like, what do I do with these? She's like, you're fucked, just give up now. And then Divatox really is just demoted. She's not really fired, she's just like demoted, and then Astronema is like takes over, and she was awesome. God, Astronema is so good. She's just a good villain, and that's why I really wish I went to Power Morphicon this year. Because one, it's the 25th anniversary of the whole thing, which is fun. I think like a couple days from now, the 25th anniversary special is happening, and Tommy, Cat, and the guy from Time Force, whose name I don't remember, the character's name, they're going to be back. And those 3 do a lot with this franchise, so they often come back to stuff like that. But they're going to be in the special. But the reason I bring up Power Morphicon is because the woman who played Astronema she was there. This was last weekend. She was there, and she was in costume. And I was like, fuck, that would have been the greatest thing. She's really great villain. She's really fun. I really wish I had that. I was like there to see her. That would be so cool. To have a picture with Astronema, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it was a lot of fun. And I've just been like, I don't know, in spirit watching a lot more Power Rangers, just 'cause it's so much fun. But Lost Galaxy is amazing. It's so surprisingly good and still tied into the story, which is nice. And I recently found out, because like, what was I was reading the comics, which I'll get to in a second. But in the comics, at one point, there's a football game. They're the what do they call them? They were the Angel Grove Tigers, the Angel Grove Roar or something, Aurora was their battle cry. I forget. It wasn't important because what ended up happening, I was like, is that actually their mascot? Has that ever been established? So I look up on the Power Rangers wiki, Angel Grove, and I'm looking through, scrolling through, looking to see if they ever mentioned the high school's team. But I'm like, I don't remember them ever mentioning what their high school mascot is. But maybe they did. I just wasn't paying attention. It was a year ago that they mentioned it in like one episode or something. But I think it was. I'm like, I think it was Tigers, but I don't remember. So I'm like going through. At the bottom, there was a thing called, what was it called? Hexagon, I think. It was a potential season, which turned out to be Ninja Storm, which is the first ninja one they had. The current one. No, the current one is ninjas. The one before that was samurai. It's not this one, but the one before, like the one 10 years ago, was ninjas, and they were going to use that to like tie everything together. It was like the 10th year anniversary. They were going to have every season have a connection to the other one before it. Or like tie up all the loose ends, because like there's a lot of villains that just vanish, like Scorpina, for example, just disappears. And so like all these villains were going to come back and like play major roles, and then because apparently a lot of seasons, like how this one Lost Galaxy has the Astro Mega ship and Alpha, so it's still got connections to the whole thing. They were going to look to have connections in like every possible way, have all the connections that they possibly could, bring it all together, in however they needed to. All right, there we go. So there's they were gonna tie it all together in like villains that vanished or villains that weren't finished, and in this season they referenced this thing, and then like bring it all together and have like this like they're basically looking to like set up a framework for like this is the Power Rangers universe. Play with it as you will. We now have pretty much the full thing defined. Do as whatever. And eventually it just didn't work out. I guess through like scheduling of certain actors. And honestly, though, I think now they would want to, like some people would come back, and they would be able to pull this off potentially better than they did back then. And I do have an idea for how to do that. Hasbro, feel free to take this. But there's a Sentai series that just wrapped up. I don't remember the Japanese name, but basically it's like Constellation Rangers. Each one is named after a different like constellation thing. Like there's, the snake thing that they just added to the horoscope thing. There's one of those. There's a bull. There's the Libra one. Like they all have like all of them. And like there's the one they have like helmets that like there's one helmet. I think the gold one's like the fucking the two scales. Like they're all of them. So there's 13 in total. I think what you should do, use that series. Have your 5-6 new people, and then the other, whatever number you end up picking for the new people, everything else you fill with people from the past. So you bring them all in, and you figure out a way to like tie it all together. So you'd have your Jason David Franks and whatever. Obviously he would show up. And I think there's like a secondary Red Ranger in that. I haven't watched it. I watched a lot of GIFs of it, and I see a lot of like, I read a little bit about it, and I see a lot of like the people cosplaying it. So I think there's a second Red Ranger, he's like older. Bring him as Jason David Frank, and then fill in some of the other ones. Because the Pink Ranger's like a robot in that series, and a couple of them are aliens. Which, that's cool. Do that. I mean, that Lost Galaxy has an alien. She's still like human, but she's an alien. So you can still do stuff like that. Bring in some of the aliens. There's a guy who was a Black Bull. We could bring the Magna Defender back. That'd be fucking dope as shit. That'd be actually fucking really cool if they brought him back. I think that guy is like a professional wrestler or something in that one. I don't know. You'd have to work it out. We'd have to figure it out. I've never worked on one of these teams. I don't know what you have to do to make it happen, but I think if you utilize that season to have like half new blood, half old blood all coming together to just do like this big galactic space battle, it would be the greatest thing to happen to mankind. It would be amazing. So I really want that to happen. I think that'd be super cool. Because I think it's cool if they bring, like, obviously some of these people really do enjoy that thing. Because if you want, like, I follow almost every person, except for this team for Lost Galaxy. I haven't gone on Instagram and found all of them, but I usually follow as many members as I can. Like, who wasn't on there? Cassie doesn't have an Instagram for some reason. From in space, so I don't follow her, but I follow like everyone else, and I like doing that. But they all fucking love the fact that obviously probably that's where their paychecks come from, but they all love being Rangers. They all will, they come back, they go to the conventions, all that kind of stuff. So I think you should do that. I think it'd be really cool to do all of that. And just have like, oh, hey, come back in, do the season, you're this person, and this, come, and so you have like a bunch of representation from all the different seasons, and like build this mega team. I think it'd be so fucking sick. Hasbro, fucking, if you need me, I'll be there. Otherwise, take my ideas. Don't even credit me, just do it. It'd be so fucking cool. They actually announced but they revealed who the 3 for Beast Morphers are going to be. They all look great. I'm actually pretty excited the guy who's playing the Red Ranger, I don't know, this is a picture, so I don't really know how he talks or anything, how he acts, anything like that, but he's just like a jack dude. Like, I think he's gonna do a good job. I don't know. Because, like, the guy in Lost Galaxy, Leo, who plays the Red Ranger, he's just, like, he's so cool. I don't know. He's got, like, this crazy jawline. He's, like, super, like, masculine looking, but he's, like, very, like, not even, like rash, but he's very much like, I'm gonna get the fucking job done. So he goes off and he does it, and it's like, he'll put himself in harm's way and stuff. I'm like, maybe not the smartest leader, but a leader I can get behind. Like, let's go. I love this guy. He's so cool. And, like, everyone on that team is really good, actually. They have, like, the Green Ranger, he's, like, a mechanic, so he's kind of playing that, like, intelligent guy role, like, the computer guy role, and then Blue Ranger's the second in command. They've nailed it. They've nailed it. It's very good. I'm enjoying it very much so. Yeah, so, but I mentioned the comics, so I've been rereading them, because the Shattered Grid ends soon, sometime in the end of August. Could be this week, could be next, where next week isn't the end of August. So it's sometime this week, I guess. I think this is the last week of August, or is there one more week of August? I don't even remember. I'm going to look real quick. I don't even know if I could open the right app. There's one more week of August. So, it's sometime in the next 2 weeks. They're ending the Shattered Grid. I don't remember or wet day. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll reread it. Because it starts with Go-Go Power Rangers, which is the first series, the Boom Studios comic. So it starts with that. And then, like, because so that's the thing, too. Because I only just started reading the Boom Studios stuff, or the Go-Go stuff. So, because issue 8 ends with a big, like, Shattered Grid moment. And then we go to the other thing. So I'm not sure if they're the same or parallel universes that cross. I'm not entirely sure. Because there's Tommy's in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Boom Studio comic. Go-Go Power Rangers doesn't have him. So I don't know if it's like Go-Go is first and then it goes into that. But they work parallel to each other. You read one and then you read the other, and they came out like every other month from each other, and they both told the story together. So I caught up to issue 8. I was gonna jump over to the regular one, but holy poop stick, is that good? It's good shit. Just a good comic. It's like super fucking cool, and it's cool too because they like utilize like things that have been mentioned, like the morphing grid, and they give that like a definition and a function. Like it's cool. It's cool shit like that. Where it's like, what does this do, and like how can we utilize this, and like, or like in the Go-Go one. It starts out, they don't give them communicators. Alpha gave Jason like a big clunky phone, and then Billy's like, we could fix that. We could do a better job with that thing. And then they get the communicators that we know about. So like it's kind of cool. They like read it, like all the things are there. It's just like they're defining where, or they reevaluate or redefine where things came from or how they happen and how they work. And then like it makes more sense in like, because like both of those take place in a modern context, you know? So it's like, we have cell phones, so why would we need a wristwatch, you know, like, or like, you don't really need to hide a wristwatch going off because phones exist, so you just be like, oh, it's my phone, sorry, and, you know, leave the room, whatever, you know, so it's like, it's interesting how they kind of like recontextualized how a lot of this works, like in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic series, Bulk and Skull have a podcast about who are the Rangers, and so like stuff like that, they go off and have a YouTube channel where they try to figure out who they are, and stuff like that, it's pretty cool, and then I know in Mighty Morphin, they, do a couple more fights like in other parts of the country or the world, not just Angel Grove. Like at one point, Trinity's like fighting in like Rome or something. I think it's Trinity. Someone's fighting in Rome or Greece or something. They're over in like, you know, Europe. I always thought that was cool too. Because like, why would she attack the one place? And that is like a one weird thing too about Lost Galaxy, because the whole series, I remember reading this, like, I think I've mentioned on here too, that like when the writers were given, like, we're doing another space thing, but use this nature-based show, they were like, what? How does that make sense? So like, they have like this like space station that they're going off to go find another world, and then, you know, they found this alien species, and like they usually have it like, oh, we're going to this other planet, and then they solve that thing. But a few episodes have been like, oh, bad guys are like, you know what? This ancient power, it's definitely buried on this man-made space station. 100% definitely going to be buried there or fucking trapped there somewhere. And then they're like, right sometimes? And it's like, why? You have to manually put that there. That doesn't just happen to end up there. You have to move that there. You have to this isn't like this existed. You have to scoop up dirt and put it there and then bury it in this spot. It's super weird. It's like a weird little thing, but like it works. It was surprising. It's like not as, because I had read that like they struggled to write this season. I thought it was gonna be a nightmare, but it worked out, and like it actually works out. But the comic is also super good. And I know like later the later stuff in Shattered Grid, like when the other Rangers from different series show up, and like I know the Magnet Defender comes up because the guy who draws, I think it's from Mighty Morphin, I follow him on Twitter, he loves drawing the Magnet Defender, and will often, like when he has to draw him, he'll take a picture of like the finished thing, like just in like the penciling or the inking or whatever. I forget what I think he might just pencil because it's all digital, but like he'll do the thing and he'll take a picture of like the uncolored version, be like, I just love drawing this guy, and like that kind of stuff. Like he plays a big part. It's awesome. Everything's so cool. It's just so dope. So many cool things happening. Power Rangers is so fun. I love it so much. I don't understand how it could be so good. And I have the very first Kamen Rider series downloaded, which I'm excited to watch, but it's like 98 episodes. So I'll probably get through most of Power Rangers until we get to that point, like because right now it's like they're all big seasons, but eventually they all come to like about a 20 episode season. So once I get to about that point, I might start branching out to other longer tokus back from the past, just kind of see what those are like. But I don't know. And then yeah, I enjoyed Amazon's. It was fun. It was a good show. It was weird though. It ended really weird. Because obviously, like, I don't know, they had to be, they almost like, knew there was going to be a second season. Because they named every episode and then highlighted the letter of the episode, a letter of the episode, usually the first one for the episode, the name of the title. And it was a letter of the alphabet, and it ends at like M or whatever. So obviously, there's going to be the other half of the alphabet. So maybe they knew that going in, why they made the ending so weird. But like, I don't understand how our protagonist is our protagonist. He's kind of a terrible person. I don't understand. I think he's wrong in every aspect. I don't understand. How is he correct? What? It's like, yeah, they eat people. They need to go. Jin is correct. You are wrong. Why is Jin being portrayed as a madman? You're the crazy one. I don't know. It ended kind of weird. I'm wondering if like that the second half of this story makes that more clear. But it was pretty interesting to be like, wait, why are we on your side? You're just wrong. You're so incorrect. But I digress. I guess I will talk about one more thing before I go into WoW, and that is Disenchantment, which is the new. Is it Matt Groening? Is that how you pronounce his last name? The guy who did the Simpsons and Futurama. I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. I only see it in writing. I don't know if I've ever heard it said. It's actually fucking hilarious. I thought it was great. I watched the whole thing. It's like part 1, I think it's labeled as. Not season 1, it's like part 1 on Netflix. So I guess how they labeled it. It was interesting. I don't know if they've done that before with things or what. Because I first saw them, I'm like, fuck, does that mean this is going to go like, here's 10 episodes, then in 6 months there's another 10 episodes, it's season 1 still. It's like, I hate that shit. That's why I haven't gone back to The Tick, because it was like, oh, this is really fun. And then it's like, oh, I forgot The Tick exists, but I haven't watched it because it was in part 1 of the season 1. Stupid. Do it in 1. Stop doing this. So, it's labeled as part 1, 10 episodes. It's pretty funny. I watched like this video, because I haven't watched like this old Simpsons in a long time, like literally since it was on TV, and I've never gone back since to like rewatch the whole thing, which I sometimes think about doing. And then Futurama, I had read the script of the first episode, and then recently rewatched the first episode. Boy, is that a masterpiece. Futurama is really well done. Super fucking fantastic. And I know everyone loves Simpsons so much. And like the old Simpsons being like what it was. And so maybe if I rewatch Disenchantment, I'll notice some things that would like, because like you can tell like they have a greater story, kind of like, especially in Futurama, they have like the greater story kind of understood, figured out to some extent. But yeah, there's a really great website. It's like IMDb, but for scripts. I think it was literally called like Internet Movie Script Database or something. Like it's just for scripts. You can watch it. You can like read a script to anything. And so I read like the Futurama one. I was like, wow, this is really fascinating. So I was like, let me watch this, or read this, then watch the episode and see how they compare. And like, it was really, really cool to see how that worked out, and like how you see like how a line would change or come to life once being performed as opposed to just on the page. Like, oh, that's really cool that you can sometimes just put the thing down that you have an idea for, but it was still even really funny just to read it. Like there's the guy. When Fry comes out of the Frozen thing and the guy walks out, he goes, "Welcome to the land of tomorrow," or something to that effect. And then his assistant behind him is just like, "Why do you do that all the time?" And then just his response like, "You have no eye for like showmanship or something." And like it was really funny written down, but then like watching it played out, it's even better. It's fascinating how he did that. But Disenchantment also pretty good. I don't know, like, how it compares, like because I haven't watched these things really a lot recently or at all. I don't know how it compares to the older projects, but I enjoyed it. It was actually like really fun. Like it's at least one episode I had some big laugh where I was like, "That's hilarious. You're hilarious." Stop. But it's really funny. It was good. I enjoyed myself. I look forward to more. I was actually kind of upset. I was like, damn, I'm done. This is sad. I wish I had more. It's only 10 episodes, so you can burn through it pretty quickly. And like it goes places, which is cool. Like that 10th episode is like, motherfucker, where are we going with this? What is the next move here? This is pretty crazy. So like it was cool to have like this big like holy shit, like cliffhanger twist moment. You're like, all right, I'm on board. But it was like fun to watch leading up to it. It was a good time. So I there's a lot of like they left with a lot of questions like unanswered. Like certain people aren't who they seem. I'm not gonna get too detailed with it because it's so new, but it was fascinating. Just like, oh shit, this is really cool having like the direction they were taking it. Because it started off just very much like it's a wacky fantasy show, but like it started to become like more of a story thing, and like they were doing a good job with like bringing certain characters back. Like there's one character who gets like polymorphed at one point, and like he just comes back a couple episodes, and like, oh right, I forgot he wasn't dead, and just like him doing his thing, and it was, oh god, so funny. And like every once in a while, someone has this like a really good line. You're like, oh, that was too good. I'm dying. that was hilarious. But it was fun. I do hope I don't know what the schedule is. Actually, I should have looked that up. Usually I do. Like when I like something like that, I'll look up like season 2, and like usually it's like they bought a season 2 already, and it's coming out blah 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 or whatever. But I actually didn't look it up. I just like that was good. I enjoyed myself, and I just like moved on. But it was really fun. It was really really fun. I hope there's more like real soon. I hope it being labeled part 1 means it's soon. But yeah, I recommend that. It was really fun. Other than that, I'm just gonna talk about WoW for like 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll leave you. But yeah, Battle for Azeroth came out like last Monday, and boy oh boy, if I put a lot of time into that game already. It's crazy. It's like so easy to like just fall into like the next path for like progression, where you're like, all right, I'll just get to 120. All right, I just want to get to world quests. All right, well, I got to get to this eye level. All right, well, I've broken this eye level. Now I can do this part of content, so I should probably start doing this. You know, I should probably start doing this. Oh, and then there's this thing over here. Oh, I got to figure out how to do this. Because, like, having played it for so long, I know it's supposed to be there. Like, I actually didn't even read up much about the game, but, like, I was like, well, I know that they're going to have, like, the little people who send on missions, so where's that? And I got to go and find that, and I discover, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to do this and this and this. All right, cool. And then it's like, well, I know I have things I can, like, upgrade, like you had, like, the Order Hall research. There's got to be that. Oh, here it is. Okay, how do I do that? Oh, okay, here we go. And then it's just like, there's small things like that where it's just like, oh, I know I got to do this. So how do I do that? Oh, okay. Like the Pathfinder achievement that they had in all of the, or they had in Legion. I don't know if they've had every expansion since, but it's basically how you earn flying. You have to do part 1, which is like get revered with all the factions of the that expansion, and do what's the other one? It's like do all the story quests and explore all of the new areas. So you get the Explorer title, or not title, but you have the Explorer achievement for having actually explored all the maps and fill them out, and do all the world quests and do the war campaign and and like there's like these things you got to do. So like I was like, well, like, I should probably work towards that. So I like burned through. Honestly, with war mode on, which is the new way world PvP works, you level up like so fast. It's only like a 10% boost, but I guess when everything is giving you 10%, it like makes a huge difference. So like I finished leveling to 120 before I was even like halfway through the 3rd zone. So I was like, all right, whatever, sure. And I had avoided doing, so like you start, there's like little like mini quests that you do for like the other island. I don't know if you call them continents because they're so small, so I'm just gonna call them islands. But like there's your 2 islands, and Zandalar and Kolteris, and each faction has the one. You have three leveling zones on each one, and then you have like this little person. Like for us, it's the guy below Sylvanas, Nathanius or something, whatever. I forget what his name is pronounced, but he's like the little demon dude. He's not a demon. He's a raider. He's a banshee, I guess. And he's like, hey, let's set up footholds on the other island, and you get to pick and you'll make quest chains to those. And I thought those were gonna be like full quest chains of that zone. So that's like your way of getting to that zone so that like your faction's reason for that zone. So, because a lot of the dungeons have like stories that lead up to them, and then like so like each zone has a dungeon that basically is the end of that zone's storyline. So like, I had to go through and fight off the bad guys, and oh no, they killed our one Loa, and now he's a zombie, and we gotta go beat him up. So we're gonna go into this old temple, and that's where the first dungeon was for the Zandalar zone, whatever it's called. And okay, we're gonna go over here in this swamp area, and oh my god, there's a bunch of bad zombie trolls, and they're underground this big temple thing. That's the second dungeon. Like, they all have like a little thing where you'd like led up to it. And then the second area, Kulteris, for me, on the Horde, there's like nothing. It was just like you get your foothold in like, hey, this one's a fucking spooky castle, and over here is a pirate town, and like it was like nothing. There's like no build up. So like having to like go to all these different like places and like, oh, I'm gonna try this. So like I was like explaining, oh, okay. All I'm really doing is setting up a foothold. Like the one was like, hey, we're trying to set up here, but like there's alliance in here, so kill them, and then you would. And they're like, all right, cool, we're good. And the other one was like, hey, there's a pirate here who doesn't want to like be sold or have her soul sold to like a demon, so why don't we kill their fucking captain, and then she'll let us stay here. You're like, all right. And then you have to get your foothold to the other zone. So like that was all it was. It was weird. And then you just have to go out and explore the whole thing. But you need to do that stuff, and then you had to do one more island expedition, or one island expedition, which I haven't. And I've only done that one actually. I've never done like a real one. So I don't know anything about them. Now I think about it. So like, it's that kind of thing where it's just like, oh, I haven't done this thing yet. So then I'll go and do that. I know where to go to sign up for them. So maybe I just go and set up and do that. But like, what's the point of doing that? Like, do I get gear? Who knows? So like, it's stuff like that where you can really fall into your like, all of a sudden 6 hours pass. Like, shit, I've done nothing today. I had to just do this one thing, then go to this thing and do that thing. And then with this expansion, you have the Azerite gear, which is head, shoulders, and chest pieces, I think. Yes. That's correct. It's just 3. And those 3 pieces have like little tiers inside of them where you get little bonuses. Like, I don't even know. What's the one I have? Whatever. There's like little things. I was like, oh, like the one I keep remembering, I'm like, does this matter? It seems useless. Is like, if 4 enemies are around you, you get a little mini shield or something like that. And so like they'll have like little bonuses. And like the first ring has like, it's usually like specified to your spec. So here's an assassination rogue one, a sub rogue one, and an outlaw rogue one, and here's like a general one, and da-da-da. And then there's a second ring that's like 2 abilities that are kind of nice, and then the third one lets you bring the eye level of that piece of equipment up by 5. So like, you have reasons to like upgrade them. And your little, the way you can unlock those tiers is by the necklace that you got, which is kind of your legendary item for this expansion. The level of that necklace, that's in the necklace of like Azerite you've collected, that determines how much you can unlock on this Azerite gear. And that's it. That's pretty much the progression system. But you'll unlock a piece that's like, oh, I think my necklace currently is like at level 13. And I have pieces of armor that's like, unlock tier 2 at 16 and tier 3 at 22. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I see why I'd want to like, now I'm like jumping on world quests that I wouldn't necessarily jump on, but because they have Azerite as a reward, oh, I'll go do that. Oh, I can do this thing to get this piece thing, whatever. And then like just trying to get, so like I had to get to like 120, and then I wanted to get to heroics, which is 305 eye level, which I hit this morning, and then went and did some heroics, got some more things. I'm like at 311 now. And then 320 is your mythic. So like the nice thing about WoW, but also kind of annoying, is if you want to keep like current, you just kind of have to like, you can take your time. Like the raid doesn't come out until next month. I don't know the date, but it's next month. They gave you like a month to get ready. So you can take all the time in the world. But I have time right now, so I'm like, all right, let me just bang it out. Let me fucking grind hard. So I'm like going crazy for like a week, but I'll be there. Because like a lot of people in my guild are already at Mythic. I'm like, well, I want to keep up with them. So it's like, it's weird. It's like the way the game is designed is so strange of like none of the people in the guild, I'm not like in a crazy high-end guild that's like, you have to be at this level by this time, you're kicked out. It's just like, I want to be able to play with them, so let me keep up so I can get there. So we're all doing content that makes sense to us, and then we can get to the raid and we can do that. But like, it's weird, like, I don't have to. I still have like a month. I could keep doing what I'm doing, which is like playing by myself like I've done forever, gear up, and then just meet up and do things that way. But I don't know, it's weird. It's just weird how it like works out where it's like, no, I want to keep up, I want to do this. So, but once you hit a certain point where you're like, I have my eye level of like, 340. I don't have to play like ever, like just like log in like once a week, bang out a couple of world quests or whatever, and then move on. Like, you don't have to keep going. You don't have to like really grind like real intense. Because like yesterday I did like every world quest. Because I was like, well, and I need it for my Pathfinder part 1, and like I can use the rep and and I was like, well, might as well just bang all these out. So I'm banging all these out. It's like taking forever, But it's like, I don't have to. You don't have to do any of that stuff. That's weird how it like works out, but it's fun. A lot of the dungeons are like very AoE heavy, so I'm wondering if I should go to Outlaw while I still have like the time as like a rogue, because like right now as an assassination rogue, my only real objective is to make sure I hit Fan of Knives so everything has deadly poison on it, and then just focus one guy, because that's really all I can do. But like my single target's pretty solid, so like maybe I just stick with it. I don't know. It's a tough gamble. I don't know what to do. It's like, well, I have this, but I should do this. So I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know what like is the right spec, and like, or do I just like commit to sub, because sub is always good by the end of an expansion, so I just do it now, and then it'll be really good when I get to the end. But then like occasionally, like Legion for example, assassination just became the top out of nowhere, so like I don't know. And the way the assassination is going with like haste allowing or working with bleeds now, so like your haste ticks, or your haste allows your damage over time bleeds to tick faster, I think is what it is. I forget. It makes haste is good for bleeds now, and assassination is heavily into bleeds and poison dots. So if I like just stick with this, and we hit that certain haste threshold, I wonder if like Toxic Blade is replaced by that bleed active. I don't remember the name of it. Like, is that going to be really good? And like, I don't know. And like, there's so much to go on for. And like, it's always weird in the beginning of expansion, because like, you see like all these different websites saying like, this is the build you should be doing, and like they're not anything remotely the same. Like, I don't know what to believe and like what to work. So like, it's weird. Like, I'm just kind of going off of like what I've experienced, where I'm like, well, Blindside sucks. I should probably not use this. It's not really killing anything. I just liked having it for leveling, so I had an extra button to hit. I don't really, other than that, I don't have anything to like, it's weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what like the best thing to do. I guess you just kind of play what you want. I think that's honestly, I think what Blizzard wants. It's like, we're going to make it so you can play what you want, not necessarily what you have to. But I always like to be competitive. I like to see my name on the little damage meters. That's always fun, seeing my name at the top, or close to, when I'm, doing well, and not like, like I did some world quest where like we had like 40 people there. I'm like, boy, I can't see anything. Fucking starting to stutter. Like, it's not going as well than it usually does on a computer. So, but just like world quest, who gives a shit? We'll kill it by just having the sheer number of bodies throwing damage at this fucking thing in the middle, some dinosaur or something. Yeah, it's really weird how like it all just, I don't know. BFA's fun. I'm enjoying my time with it. It's been a lot. Boy. Yeah, it's so much. It's like so much to do. Just like there's so much to do. And if you just get through it, like I honestly don't even know what expeditions are for. I have no idea. So I should probably go and do one. But then like if they turn out to be good, I'll be doing a bunch of them. But I still got to do heroic. It's that endless fucking cycle. Because apparently the mythic one is really bad. That's just for mounts and pets. So you don't do Island Expedition mythic, but you might do heroic. I don't know. It's very confusing. I have no idea what they're for. And like the PvP side of that sounds cool. I don't even know where war fronts are. I don't even know where you start those. If they're even out yet. I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue where war fronts are. Do I unlock them? I don't know. Because the war campaign I've barely touched. And I'm like, oh, I'll do that later today. I'll record, I'll go and I'll do the war campaign, which is like the story mode kind of. And like I know for a fact, like some of that stuff is really good because you get like settlements for your faction. You can get like additional flight paths and stuff like that. So like, all right, maybe I should go and push for that so I can finish out more of the map and get a better. Because like there's one spot where it's like when you flight path over it, it'll show like a little green exclamation point. But if you go there physically, it's like not there because like it's a story based thing. But like I guess in the flight path thing, you're in like the main server, and because like they do the phasing thing now. So like if you're further in the story, you can't run into someone who's behind you in the story or something like that. So I'm wondering if like the flight path area is like just the main server, and then you go to your phasing server when you land. I don't know. They've been very good at like seamlessly blending things together. So it's weird. Although there was one area in the main Zandalar city where like you can like walk. There's like these little cave things. I'm not really sure what they're purposes. I've been in one by like just like, oh, what's in here? And it was nothing. But like demount you because it's indoors. And I had ridden over it to jump down because like the Zandalar city is like a big Aztec city, so it's very vertical. So a lot of times I'm just jumping down to get to the place I need to be, and I like jumped down from this place, but because I guess the room portion of it, like the indoors portion, its z-axis was like way too high. So like I stepped over this like the arch of the doorway, and it counted as me being indoors, so it demounted me, and I just kept going down like, oh, what the fuck? So I had to like land, remount up, and keep going. Like, it was like, oh, weird. This is a weird bug that no one would probably ever. I've never even recreated it because I've never gone back that way. So it's like weird stuff like that. I am running into a lot of like, what is this? Why is this not working? Or like some of the herbs I have been doing herbalism. Like some of these herbs like way too high up. I'm like, is that a bug? Am I doing this wrong? Is there a better way to get to that thing? Why is it in the sky? Like stuff like that. Where it's like, oh, all right, this is weirdly broken. So the small kinks have been worked out. Like this morning, the world quest for the boss. Like they have like a weekly like world boss. The world quest showed up, but the boss isn't going to spawn until the 4th of September. So like everyone's like, do we queue for this? Is it here? What's happening? And then right before I logged off, I noticed it was gone. So like I guess they fixed it. Like it's just weird. Everything's like been kind of weird, but like there's new expansion kinks you got to work out. But I've done every dungeon now. They're all pretty cool. Some of them suck. Some of the horde ones kind of suck. Like the snake one, that last boss is not a last boss. You just fight trash mobs until it's over. It's really boring. I hate it. But then there's like the spooky house one, which is really cool. It's like a big witch house. It's like a mansion that's like been like overrun by witches, and it's like really cool. It's a cool design. Like a lot of the walls have like giant like organ pipes, and I was like, how does this work? There's got to be like a giant organ in the basement, and there was a giant organ in the basement. We got down there for the dungeon. Like, oh, this is adorable. So they thought this through. Like, because like I was walking through, I was like, why is this wall just organ pipes? How do you clean these? Well, how does this work? This wouldn't work. You couldn't actually make this work unless the fucking thing was like below this. Is there a basement to this room thing? And then the dungeon goes where she's like, come to the basement to fight us. And he went down like, oh, okay, here we are. And oh, hey, look, the giant organ pipes. Now it all makes sense. But yeah, they're all pretty cool. I don't think there's any I particularly hate. I don't like Freehold, but I don't know if anyone's figured it out yet. I feel like we're doing it wrong because it seems like there's way too much trash, but it like already once now I was like, I'm pretty sure you can skip half this trash. And then I did a group today and they skipped the group, and I was like, all right, now it makes sense. So like it might just be people are not doing it right, or because the normal mode, people level with those, people have been loving with them. Who knows? But I don't know. Be good fun. It'll be good fun. So I think that's everything I'm going to talk about today. I think that's it. A lot of Power Rangers talk. It's so fun. I'm going to watch them after this. I think it's just good fun. I think I was in the middle of an episode. I don't even remember if I left off. I hate doing that, but every once in a while I will have to do it because like something comes up or whatever. But I should do that. Oh, it's 3. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to go. I gotta get this done. I just realized it's like 3 o'clock. I got things to do. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna end. Have a good time. Have a good day. Thanks for listening. Email the show if you want. yourbrainontom@gmail.com. And then that's really it. That's really all there is to it. This should be done soon, I imagine. So, yeah. Love and kisses.